the Corporation for Public Broadcasting has decided to vote itself out of existence rather than be tortured by Donald Trump. When Big Bird becomes the enemy of the state becomes the enemy of the people. As someone who grew up in the 90s, I remember the Reading Rainbow. It was one of my favorite shows on TV. I wasn't watching Big Bird or Sesame Street. I mean, I maybe caught a glimpse of it here and there, but I remember Reading Rainbow. That was one of the best shows on PBS. And how many of you watched Bob Ross and thought to themselves, I can paint that happy little tree? And of course, let's not forget about all the historical content that they had on PBS. Educational content. These were some really quality shows that were put together so that everyone could enjoy them because they had no politics in them. So today marks another day that we are closer to loose democracy than ever before. The hateful MAGA movement has permeated into every fabric of life, from government to pretty much healthcare right now. And so our ability to govern ourselves as a free country is eroding fast. The MAGA movement has evolved slowly over the years from a group of people that hated politicians for what they were doing to our country to essentially anti-everything that democracy stands for. They're anti-medicine, anti-science, anti-healthcare, anti-children, anti-teachers, anti-research, and basically anything that requires a little bit of brain power to grasp your head around is what MAGA stands against. I am very curious, if you're a MAGA parent right now, what is it that you teach your children at home? How do you teach them how to behave in the world? Because when mine asked me, how would I react to having somebody that hates me being my patient, I would say, they're my patient. They're going to be my patient until they're discharged. And I will care for them the same way I would care for somebody who I love or who I respect. No difference. And that's how I want my children to see the world. That's how I want them to behave. I don't want them to be taken advantage of, and I don't want them to be hurt, but I want them to respect the world as is. And I have a feeling that MAGA parents are not teaching their children, that same very set of values. How can they? Since they're anti-education, anti-intellectualism. I guess prove me wrong that you're teaching your kids to be upstanding citizens, ones that fight for the entire country, not just for Donald Trump. Sad indeed.